Cheer for your mamuni akwaba Ebam Melodies podcast YouTube channel. So we name the EOCO a year EOCO enya court order trese omudi freezy and omudi season and apia mensane properties na letter na EOCO the buy no omu season a year osha nana apia mensa ne men's gold inyama no omu sansu season a year Zylofon Zylofon properties omu boy omu sansu season a year brew marketing any Star Madrid or said then MC omudino no therefore inti adeni asema ba na inti ayenya ne say Zylofon radio and Zylofon media mpo de a shut it down Zylofon radio inti no ene yenya say Zylofon radio there immediately na a shut it down any Zylofon TV and there na nkofo air complain say fiti no pan na Zylofon radio and Zylofon TV no mu nye juma inti ayenya ne say a shut it down Black Rasta or radio presenter ewo ho na or send some tweets bi na tweet no address send anyama akone de Zylofon radio a shut it down na yankofa more on this yankofa more reports on this na your first report on this na obeti in semnasi ye
to freeze landed properties and vehicles of Men's Gold CEO Nana Apia Mensah, popularly known as NAM1. In a statement signed by the head of public affairs at EOCO, Jacqueline Avotri, all employees of the affected companies, relatives and friends in possession of any of the said properties are to surrender it to the EOCO headquarters or its regional offices. It further called on the general public to assist EOCO by giving out relevant information to retrieve the vehicles and properties of the said companies. Here is the content of the letter read by Hansen Ajaman.
The Economic and Organized Crime Office has secured a court order confirming the freezing of landed properties and vehicles of Men's Gold Ghana Limited, Men's Gold Office Complex, Zylofon Art Complex, Brew Marketing Consult, Star Madrid Football Club, Zylofon Music and Media Company Limited, Brew Energy Company Limited, Gintech Automobile Service, 2 properties located at Trasaco Valley, that's plot number 315 and plot number 337. Plot of land number 54 near Oak Street, Trasaco Valley. Uncompleted residence, 510 acres of land. By this news release, all employees of the affected companies, relatives and friends who are in possession of any of such properties are to surrender same by the authority of the High Court to the Economic and Organized Crime Head Office and regional offices in their own interest. Failure to do so will constitute contempt of court, which will attract the appropriate sanctions. The general public is also entreated to assist EOCO by giving information to facilitate the retrieval of all vehicles and properties not listed in the freezing order.
You heard contents of a letter from the Economic and Organized Crimes Office, EOCO, securing a court order to freeze properties and vehicles of Nana Apia Mensah.
And already that action we are seeing take effect in various forms and shapes as far as assets and institutions that are owned directly or indirectly by NAM1 is concerned. For instance, his radio station, Zylofon 102.1 FM. We've seen a tweet from a very famous presenter, reggae music presenter on that platform, musician and a reggae presenter, Black Rasta. He has sent a tweet saying, and I'm going to read that for you quickly. It says, last taxi driver show on Zylofon till sanity is restored. Thanks for helping me prove again that we are the best in the game. Africa History Class hashtag to Jah be the glory. So we do not know if the radio station will be shutting down immediately, but he has a late afternoon show, and that's a tweet he sent a short while ago. That's around 2:30 p.m. Let's get some more on this particular story. Amanda Clinton is a lawyer for some aggrieved customers of Men's Gold. She's joined us on the line. Madam, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Should this be considered as good news for customers of Men's Gold in any way?
Definitely.
How do they stand to benefit?
Well, first and foremost, this is the first real confirmation in terms of from a state body and the government that a crime has been committed. Because before, no people had labelled it, but when Men's Gold took SEC to court, the matter wasn't determined in terms of a fraud had been committed. But this is the first time that a court order has been made and therefore assets seized. So that's very good. But we also have to bear in mind that the same people in Men's Gold, in terms of directors, are the same people in brew marketing. And these directors have to be, people have to go after them individually in terms of assets. And NAM1 was, as it were, playing with a lot of money. So if it's 2 houses in Trazaco and a couple of cars, etc., perhaps this is a gentleman that can afford to lose that. So ideally, it would be for confirmation from Interpol Ghana that they have sent out notifications globally and that there is a coordinated attempt for international assets to be seized. Because over 5 months has passed since EOCO filed a formal criminal complaint, and then, bank accounts were frozen. So we very much welcome this decision from EOCO. We very much welcome it because it's like saying, yes, the crime has been committed and a lot of assets were taken from the public and they are victims. On the other hand, if a lot of assets have been dissipated, we need to get our hands on those assets because, 2 houses in Trazaco, a couple of cars, etc., doesn't even scratch anything for someone moving with this kind of money.
Now, the tricky part of this issue would be proving that he is connected to these properties, isn't it? Because we've seen cases in the past in the courts where persons have had their properties attached and other relatives show up. And indeed, a similar thing is happening in Kumasi, where other persons will show up and say, no, this property belongs to me and not the persons you have or the person you have. So this statement may sound exciting for customers of Men's Gold until a court or someone comes to court with an application suggesting that these properties that have been listed do not belong to Nana Appiah Mensah after all.
Yes, but the distinction in this case, because I think you're also pointing to cases like Wyoming, where yes, people came out, etc. But the unique feature about this case is public interest. We saw it in GFA. This case has a high amount of public interest in terms of a lot of people were involved, and the court could also take the position that because NAM1 was made aware that a criminal complaint had been filed against him on the 14th of August 2018, he quickly tried to send, put that property in different people's names, etc. So under public interest, we can claw back these assets in the public interest, and because you only put them in somebody else's name just to avoid, us seizing it. I mean, that's one way the government could go with that, because this is distinct from other cases where you didn't have so many people in the public involved, basically.
Now, is there a way that you, and I'm referring to legal, precedents now, where you could say because the transaction to transfer ownership of these properties was recently done, there could be ill motive, for which reason the state can say there is foul play and, place its icy hands on the assets? Is that possible?
The only cases and examples I can cite is what I've always cited in terms of U.S. Precedents when it comes to Ponzi schemes and it having an effect on a large amount of people. And so it's the same principle, because basically in this country we actually haven't defined something as a Ponzi scheme ever, really. Where we really said categorically this is a Ponzi scheme and this is how we're going to deal with it. So this is like one of the first cases. But in the same instance, the judge and the judiciary have some bit of an ambit in terms of determining what public interest is and saying, well, this would fall under it. sort of thing. So it's yet to be decided how the court would go. But we do know for foreign Ponzi scheme cases, when it affects so many people and you can't get a hold of that many assets initially, you claw back as much as you can. But I would really want to emphasize this fact that Interpol Ghana, it would be really great if Interpol Ghana can confirm if notifications have been sent out internationally, what those notifications were, and if there is an international effort to claw back assets. Because over 5 months passed before accounts were frozen, they could have taken everything out, including the kitchen sink. And that's every director of Men's Gold and Brew Marketing Limited. 5 months is you could do this in 2 weeks, let alone 5 months. So we would really like to know what the international effort is, and we commend government for at least labeling this a crime that has been committed against victims of a wide group, and that they're doing everything they can in order to claw assets back.
Now, I know this may be far-fetched to be asking now, but this freezing that has been done, and if everything goes as planned and the state is able to, value these assets, sell them, how do you envisage the cash will be distributed to the close to 2 million customers of Men's Gold?
Yes, I mean, although some people would dispute the amount, it is a considerable amount of people. It wouldn't be for me to say how government is going to decide how to distribute these assets.